Hello and welcome to KSG News, where you get all the latest from across the globe to help with your exam preparations. We begin with GS Paper 3. The Parliament on the 25th of March passed a bill to set up the National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development to fund infrastructure projects in India. The Rajya Sabha passed the National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development Bill 2021 or the NA-BFID by voice vote on the 25th of March. The bill was passed in the Lok Sabha on the 23rd of March 2021. The bill seeks to establish the National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development to support the development of long-term non-recourse infrastructure financing in India, including development of the bonds and derivatives markets necessary for infrastructure financing and to carry on the business of financing infrastructure and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. The DFI or the Development Finance Institution, called the National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development, will be answerable to the Parliament. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman explained that the 5 years tax break to the DFI is given so that more funds flow to it. The Act gives space to private institutions to come up, for which we give tax benefits for the first 5 years, and for this institution we are giving tax benefits for 10 years, the Finance Minister said. Sovereign guarantee has been provided. This institution will be able to access the line of credit from RBI. It will attract investment from both domestic and global institutional investors as domestic retail investors. We are not depending on just FDIs. In her 2019 to 2020 budget speech, Sitharaman had proposed a study for setting up DFIs for promoting infrastructure funding. In some more updates related to GS Paper 3, India proposes to adopt a rolling auction mechanism for conducting coal auctions, under which a pool of coal blocks will always remain available for auctions, the Coal Minister Prahlad Joshi said on the 25th of March. With rolling auctions, we will upload a comprehensive list of mines along with key technical data, and bidders can submit their preferences for the mines to be included in the next tranche of auction. This would be a continuous process and would result in expediting the auction setup. Now, what does this mean? It will help the bidders in planning better and would further enhance transparency in the system. Coal is the first mineral resource where rolling auction mechanism is being implemented. The country launched on the 25th of March second tranche of auction for commercial coal mining, offering 67 mines for sale of coal. This is the highest number of mines on offer in a particular tranche of auction after commencement of the auction regime since 2014. The coal mines on offer are a mix of mines with small and large reserves, coking and non-coking mines, and fully and partially explored mines spread across 6 states: Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. The government is also looking at reforming the existing e-auction mechanism of Coal India Limited and considering clubbing different e-auction windows of CIL into one. This will help in moving towards one price for one coal grade. Selling coal at market-determined prices through one e-auction window would help in simplifying the system and promoting transparency. And now we should focus to GS Paper 2. The Supreme Court on the 25th of March ordered the central government to allow Permanent Commission or PC to women officers in the Indian Army and Navy who were excluded from the same on the ground of fitness standards. The question of evaluating on inter-sim merit does not arise. Officers will be considered for permanent commission subject to disciplinary. Officers will be considered for permanent commission subject to disciplinary and vigilance clearance, the Apex Court added. Now, what is the significance of this? Superficial face of equality will not be in consonance with the principles enshrined in the Constitution, the Apex Court said. The court also noted that trials and tribulations of army life become more difficult when society gives women the responsibility of childcare and domestic work too. The Supreme Court was hearing a batch of petitions filed by 80 women officers for permanent commission in the Indian Army and Navy, seeking a direction that contempt proceedings be initiated against those who had allegedly failed in their duty to comply with the top court's earlier judgment. In the petitions, the women officers have alleged that the directions were not being complied with in letter and spirit. Now, going into some background details of this, in February 2020, the Supreme Court allowed women officers in the army to be eligible for command positions on par with male officers, asserting that the government's arguments against it were discriminatory, disturbing, and based on stereotypes. The court also said permanent commission would be available to all women regardless of their years of service. We're shifting focus to GS Paper 1. A 4.5 feet statue of Channa Keshava Swami dated back to the 12th century was discovered while extracting sand at Hemavati River at Halebeluru village in Karnataka's Sakleshpur Taluk on the 23rd of March. The sculpture resembles the statue of the Belur Channa Keshava Swami temple. Except for the slight scratches while lifting by the excavator machine, there is no damage to the statue. It is said that the people who found the sculpture left it covered under the sand out of fear and then informed the authorities. There is a Channa Keshava temple in the village dated back to the Hoysala period. Renovation works are in progress at the temple, which is in a dilapidated condition. The discovered sculpture has been kept in the temple. The villagers cleaned this sculpture and performed puja. The villagers urged the authorities to hand over the statue to the temple after research by the Department of Archaeology and Museums. And now we move on to some more updates related to GS Paper 2. On the 24th of March 2021, the Lok Sabha passed a bill that seeks to strengthen and streamline the provisions for protection and adoption of children amid praise from both the Treasury and opposition benches. Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani told the Juvenile Justice Amendment Bill seeks to make district magistrates synergizing officers in case of both protection as well as adoption by increasing their role. Going into the details of this, DMs are already empowered to review issues related to child protection. After the bill becomes law, their scope will go beyond review, and once they are legally ordained, they would make child rights and protection a priority area. The bill further proposes that the appointment of any member of the committee shall be terminated by the state government after an inquiry if they fail to attend the proceedings of the committee consecutively for 3 months without any valid reason, or if they fail to attend less than 3/4 of the sittings in a year. The minister further pointed out that the adoption amendment will streamline the process and make it swifter, saying that there are 900 pending cases of adoption which have been waiting for years. That's it in this edition of KSG News. Stay tuned for more such updates.